Why not? Senator Ronald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, FISA Section 702 will expire in 6 months. In response to my questions for the record, at your confirmation hearing, you said you did not have experience with FISA, but if confirmed, you would consult with experts at DOJ. Now you've had that opportunity. Do you support adding additional safeguards for searching Americans' communications in the 702 database?
Senator, Section 702 is a vital source of foreign intelligence and instrumental in keeping Americans safe. We also take individuals' rights of Americans, their individual rights of all Americans, very seriously. And many statutory reforms to FISA have incorporate safeguards. They have to incorporate safeguards to protect our civil liberties. The Department of Justice looks forward to working with you to discuss anything regarding 702.
Appreciate
I believe
that.
my staff, and Senator, I also want to thank you for this hearing. Your staff met with my staff, and I greatly appreciate that.
Thank you. We're going to be working on 702, so I appreciate the openness to further amending 702. At your confirmation hearing, you assured me that it is the Department of Justice's decision to determine what cases will be prosecuted. Last month, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was forced out. President Trump then posted the message behind me asking about prosecuting James Comey. You then appointed a new U.S. attorney who within days secured an indictment against James Comey. That social media post behind me saying, "What about Comey?" was directed to Pam. Are you the Pam that the president was referring to?
I'm sure I was.
So it's very clear to me that when the president posts something like that, that he considers the DOJ to be his law firm and you his lawyer. And in fact, very shortly after the post to you, Comey gets indicted. Last year, President Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, was videotaped taking a bag with $50,000 in cash from undercover FBI agents after suggesting he could help with government contracts. Sounds like a bribe. 2 weeks ago, DOJ officials reportedly shut down the bribery investigation into Mr. Homan. Ms. Bondi, did you approve closing the Homan investigation, bribery investigation?
Just get rid of that. Senator Hirono, as I stated earlier, the Department of Justice and the FBI conducted a thorough review, and they found no credible evidence of any wrongdoing. You were also on video outside the White House protesting with a group called CASA, where Antifa members were. Does that mean you're a member of Antifa?
You know, I simply asked the question as to whether or not you approve the shutting down of the investigation, Mr. Homan. I have to assume that you did because the FBI reports to you. But the American people would look at the situation where this person is taking a $50,000 in cash, no less, and you testified today that a thorough investigation was done.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Okay, I know that initial section was kind of long, and this intro is going to be kind of long too because I want to get into this. What a corporate robot right there, right? Like Blumenthal was bad yesterday, but look at this lady, right? Like, check it out. Her entire spiel, she's going to be reading off of a piece of paper. She can't even ask questions. She doesn't even know what she's talking about because she says in that segment right there that Tom Homan was caught on video. That's not true. Tom Homan wasn't caught doing anything. All of it, folks. The whole situation with Tom Homan is all unsubstantiated. All of it is. It's a report from the corporate press. Apparently, there was some sort of investigation based upon allegations, but they found nothing wrong. Now, once again, they closed down that investigation, but think about it like this, folks. That investigation was started under the Biden administration because this took place last year. This took place before Donald Trump was even elected, folks. This was like midsummer last year, 2024, as a matter of fact, right? Now, I talked about this when I did my video covering this. This is all nonsense, okay? So there was an audio tape. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, an audio tape. You cannot tell if somebody takes money on an audio tape. Like, I don't understand that. Plus, they never produced the audio. Let's bring this back for a second, though. Hang on. This was under the Biden administration. Apparently, there was an undercover FBI agent handed him the money. What happens, folks, normally when people take money in a bribe? They get arrested, right? Now, we went over all the particulars of this. Like, that doesn't make sense. How come they didn't arrest him? Oh, well, let's make up the excuse. Oh, because he guaranteed, oh, I'm going to help you out with some contracts. Blah, 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 blah. Hang on just a second. Tom Homan is in an advisory role. He does not do anything. He has nothing to do whatsoever with doling out contracts to anybody. Nothing at all. So that doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense, folks. And usually when it doesn't make sense, you got to connect way too many dots here to make everything work. Yeah, I don't think so, folks. It's all unsubstantiated from anonymous sources. That's all I'm going to say. Apparently there was an investigation going on, but once again, this was also under the Biden administration, which we just got through finding out, like, I don't know how many different situations where the Biden administration, you know, they engaged in a little bit of impropriety here, a little bit of corruption over here. Why not? You know, they spied on senators, sitting senators, folks. As a matter of fact, at the end of this clip, I left on Senator Kennedy's little beginning section. You'll see what it is. It's great, y'all. But y'all do me that favor. Smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Click the join button. Sign up. Become a member. And let's just go ahead and get into it.
Now, I have to assume, I conclude, that since no wrongdoing was determined, that in answer to Senator Whitehouse's question, he kept the money. He kept the money, and I hope that he put that on his tax returns as income. Next question. Over 1,200 rioters were convicted of charges related to January 6th. President Trump has since pardoned nearly all of them. As if that weren't enough, last month there were reports that a lawyer for the January 6th rioters met with senior DOJ officials about setting up a compensation fund like the one that Congress set up after 9/11 to compensate these rioters. Ms. Bondi, is anyone at DOJ considering setting up a compensation fund for January 6th rioters? Yes or no?
Senator, I have had no meetings or discussions about a fund.
So would you support such a fund? Would you okay such a fund?
Senator, you can send me the information on the fund, and I'd be happy to look at it.
No, but do you think that's a good idea to, this is what I'm getting at. Because to actually set up a fund and to have people talking with your senior people at DOJ, political people, about creating a fund, and you won't let us know what you think about that, that's pretty unbelievable. On January 30th of this year, the Trump DOJ's Antitrust Division sued to block the merger of two tech companies. Then, well-connected lobbyists met with your political deputies who overruled the career staff and approved the merger. So there's a settlement on that. And separately, DOJ sued Ticketmaster last year for monopolizing concert tickets and forcing consumers to pay outrageous fees. Ticketmaster has hired the exact same lobbyists who met with senior DOJ political people regarding the merger of the two tech companies. So my question is, Ms. Bondi, have lobbyists met with your political deputies about the Ticketmaster case?
Senator Hirono, as I stated earlier, I am not going to discuss anything that is ongoing. Gail Slater runs the antitrust
I would
office,
say
and
that-
Gail
that-
Slater, if I can finish, Gail Slater is doing an incredible job running my antitrust unit.
It's highly likely, Ms. Bondi, that the same lobbyists who met with your people basically got rid of the antitrust case.
Senator, I don't think a lot of people
I
like
would
that
say
you were
that
out
they're probably
protesting with
meeting you
Antifa.
right now. Next question. You have fired dozens of career prosecutors because they worked on cases involving President Trump or January 6 rioters. For example, one career federal prosecutor who secured over 100 convictions in Florida. He also spent time in D.C. prosecuting January 6 cases. He received an outstanding review only 2 days before you signed a memo firing him. The memo cited no reason for his firing. Are you firing career prosecutors solely because they worked on cases like January 6th that the president doesn't like?
Senator Hirono, I am not going
Yes
to
or
talk
no?
about personnel matters with you.
Well, we all know that hundreds of career prosecutors have left the DOJ, and literally hundreds, we're told. And
Yeah,
you know,
Senator,
you've
are you
lost. The
familiar with the one
DOJ
that threw a
has
sandwich
lost-
at an ICE officer? Are you a Homeland Security officer?
is the
Are you familiar
reason-
with the one who went out on her lunch break and was
Ms. Bondi,
making obscene gestures?
Would you say that DOJ losing these career prosecutors and the thousands of hours of experience they have prosecuting criminals, that is not a reassuring situation?
Senator, many employees took the fork in the road and resigned. DOJ is hiring committed prosecutors who will actually come into the office and work and not work remotely and
think we all
prosecute
know
violent
that-
criminals around the country and terrorists. And
When
I
you-
am very proud
you
of the
prosecutors,
work all of our prosecutors
I'm running out
are
of
doing.
time, so I think you should stop with your continuous interruptions, in my opinion. Mr. Chairman, I just want to close by saying that what was once the Department of Justice has become the Department of Revenge and Corruption. Rather than pursuing cases without fear or favor, this DOJ seeks to favor the president's friends and instill fear in his alleged enemies. If you're a friend of the president, this corrupt DOJ will bend over backwards to help you, just like it dropped the bribery investigation of Tom Homan, like it's considering paying money to January 6 rioters, and like it has put antitrust enforcement decisions in the hands of well-connected lobbyists. But if you're on the wrong side of this president, you will face the wrath of DOJ, no matter what the facts, law, or justice support. James Comey is indicted days after the president's social media directive. Experienced career prosecutors are fired just because they were assigned to work on January 6 cases. Blue states are sued to get highly sensitive private voter data, whereas red states are left alone. The double standard is clear, and the American people are waking up to the corruption and favoritism and the lawlessness at the DOJ. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
May I respond, Chairman?
Yes.
May I respond?
Yes, you may respond. Then Senator Kennedy.
Thank you. The double standard is crystal clear, Senator Hirono, crystal clear, because you didn't complain for 4 years when President Trump was being targeted by Jack Smith, by the last Justice Department. But the American people spoke loud and clear when they overwhelmingly elected him. The two-tier system of justice is over.
Senator Kennedy. Me? Yes.
General, welcome. Let's suppose that I'm appointed special counsel at the Department of Justice, and I go to the telecommunication companies, the phone companies. Let's single out AT&T, and I say, look, I know you're busy, but I want to see a copy of the phone records of a sitting United States senator. They're not going to just give them to me, are they?
No, Senator, of course not.
In fact, they're probably going to ask me what planet I just parachuted in from, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
They're going to tell me to come back with a subpoena, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
Okay. What do I have to show in that subpoena to get those phone records of a sitting? Did I mention it was a sitting United States senator? I can't remember. What do I have to show to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator?
Yes, Senator, there were actually 8 sitting United States
Yeah, I
senator,
heard that.
and you would have
Heard
to
that.
have cause.
I'm sorry, what do I have to show?
You would have to have cause to get the
Good
subpoena.
cause or probable cause?
Probable cause.
Okay.
Okay, aside from the Senator Kennedy section, I don't even really know, honestly, I don't know how to respond to most of that. It was so robotic and so, like, planned out. Like, how do you respond to most of it's just made up nonsense? Like, what are they talking about this fund to pay January 6 rioters? Like, hey, look, I think some of those people, like a lot of those people, deserve compensation for having a weaponized Justice Department bludgeon them over the head for months and months and months and months and months, if not a year or so, right? They actually deserve some sort of compensation because peaceful protesters went to the Capitol and they left as criminals, as a matter of fact. So, yeah, they deserve some sort of compensation. I've never heard of this. I went and researched that. I don't know what the hell the senator's talking about here, unless it's some unsubstantiated claim by the corporate press. Once again, made by an anonymous source. I couldn't find anything at all, based in reality, that would suggest there's a fund for these people made by the federal government, supported by the Department of Justice or the White House or anything of that sort. Like, nothing at all. And, I just love just how robotic she is. It's crazy to think about. Really, you can't ask questions. You have to write everything down and then read from that in such a robotic manner that you sound worse than the AI generated response that I could make using Grok or something like that, or one of these other apps. Like, seriously, the AI could sound better than that. That sounded totally like a year and a half ago AI generated voice. It's so weird. It's so wild. And these people they don't do any research whatsoever. Like, they have an abundant amount of staff that could actually go in and research these things and find facts and find evidence and push back against them. But they don't do that, folks. Every single, anybody that follows this channel knows. Like, when they listen to all that, it's every single corporate press outlet talking point. That's all that was. Every single bit of it. And it's almost verbatim. Right? Like with the Tom Homan thing. With the fund for the January 6th defendants. Those people. With just about everything that she was talking about. Except right there at the beginning. Talking about FISA. I didn't like that all that much. I don't like FISA. But look. I understand there's 2 parts to FISA. Right? So there is a difference there. But, on one hand, I don't like spying on Americans. On the other hand, we now currently have a foreign terrorist organization residing within the United States. So, yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about this one right here because we need to go after the terrorists. We need to get these people. We need to take them out of the game because they are just doing nothing but sowing division. They are fomenting violence, as a matter of fact, and propagating that violence and radicalizing young college students in this country to just go completely insane and destroy their lives. Like Tyler Robinson, man. He could have had a normal life, could have got a job, got a wife, and got kids, but he got radicalized when he went to college. You got to be aware, folks. Do not, in good conscience, unless you know your kid well, really well, do not send them to college. And if you do, make sure and keep tabs on them when they are at that college. Make sure they are not getting radicalized and try to bring them back to reality. Show them evidence. Whatever you need to show. Look, this is facts. and debunk any of the narratives that they come out with, because to say that Charlie Kirk was an evil person, it's just completely absurd. Right? And I'm going to cover another video here in a second, right after I'm done recording this one. There was, as a matter of fact, the DOJ went after and caught another person that sent a death threat letter to Benny Johnson, which is another conservative podcaster. They call him far right. He's not. He's a little bit further right than I am. And he digs into conspiracy theories a little bit more than I do. But he's definitely not far right. He's definitely not far right. As a matter of fact, if you go back maybe a couple of decades, he was mainstream Democrat from back then. So it's like, what do you do at this point? We have this thing called moderates, that are these people that are in the middle. And the left want to pretend that they are moderates. But when we look at their policies and we look at everything that they present as the party platform, essentially, it's all extreme. They have taken the extremities and made that the mainstream platform of the Democratic Party, folks. The Democratic Party has lost their freaking minds. Like, let's talk about government shutdown. Moved from subject to subject to subject. Right? The Republicans right now are keeping pretty much the same spending plan as Joe Biden had, which was, if you follow this channel regularly, you'll know is quite insane. $1.8 trillion deficit spending. But we're just talking about the government, right? We're not talking about all the grants that Donald Trump is cutting. That's more money. So let's kick that down a little bit, right? So it's still going to be over $1 trillion, which I'm very, very sad. I'm disappointed in Congress right now because of that. But Democrats are refusing to sign on to this because they want to give criminal aliens health care. They want these pandemic-era subsidies to remain in place. Like, are we just supposed to keep these subsidies in place indefinitely? Like, do we not allow emergency measures to expire, folks? Think about that for a second. That's what Democrats want. That's the whole reason the government is shut down. But I think it's two-pronged, right? I think it's more than that, because that's an insane position to take. That these subsidies, we know, give criminal aliens health care because it subsidizes the states that subsidize the criminal aliens, right? So we know that. That's plain. That's easily fact checkable. You can go look that up quite easily. But I think it's two-pronged. I think they want the government to be shut down because when people run out of money that work for the federal government, particularly ICE, they're going to have to go look for money from somewhere else. They're going to have to do side hustles, something. They're going to quit going to work. A lot of people are going to quit, I imagine. They're going to have to do something. So I think this is intentional. I think Democrats are trying to drop a nuke in the federal government because it's being run by Donald Trump. And I think they are completely content with this government shutdown and trying to drag it out as long as humanly possible, folks. And that right there, that within and of itself is a nuke. They are nuking themselves. Absolutely nuking themselves. Because normal human beings that live in this country are going to look at that. They're going to see everything. They're going to hear the arguments. They're going to hear Democrats say, well, we want people to have health care. And then they're going to hear Republicans say, well, no, that's not true. These are emergency measures that were set to expire. They need to expire. Do we really need these? No. As a matter of fact, we've compromised all that we can on this. We cannot compromise anymore at all without losing our principles, which, as a matter of fact, if you ask me, they've already lost their principles because of the compromising position that they're in. But people are going to look at that and be like, well, Democrats are saying Republicans are just being cruel. Republicans are saying that Democrats are just being childish. Outright. And it is. It's very childish. When you bring up the fact that Chuck Schumer and all the Democrats voted for this same continuing resolution earlier in the year, when that fact hits everybody that votes, Democrats are going to look like the fools that they are. Absolutely. They're going to look like absolute fools. It's insane, y'all, but I think I've rambled on for long enough. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comment section. Blows my mind every single day, y'all. How robotic is Senator Hirano, man? It's just insane. Like, go back and watch some of that again. It's just, oh, it's terrible. It's hard to watch, y'all. It really is. But y'all don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe if you're new around here. Share this video anywhere and everywhere you can. Click the join button, sign up, and become a member. That's the best way to help this channel expand and grow. But, guys, remember that God has a plan for all of us. You may not know what that plan is, but it's there. And He loves each and every one of you out there. So y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.